Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's TY, and we're back for another edition of TY's TV Time. But today, we have a special guest joining us on TV Corner. So Jody Mills from Supernatural will be joining me in just a few moments. I know, you don't want to see me, you don't want to talk to me, you just want Jody Mills. However, I'm here right now just to give you guys a quick update on what's going on around the Pop Culture Corner. So as you guys know, we're donating, or we're raising money for my mother's breast cancer. Breast cancer, fight against breast cancer. Fight against breast cancer. And all money raised will be going right to her bank account to help her pay for prescriptions, chemotherapy, and all medical bills that she's got. And we really, really do appreciate all donations. Anything helps, $1 or $2, or just share the message. That is free. This link will be up for, the next 3-4 months. So if you can't donate now, don't worry. You will be able to. Ask Kim a while back if she could come on, right around the same time I asked Mark, and, we set them both up for, a week after each other so we could, continue filling up content for you guys. So Jody Mills will be joining us very, very shortly. She's such a wonderful person. Just my experiences talking to her so far. She's overwhelmingly positive. She's such a sweetheart, and she's very, very unique. She's so unique, so genuine, and so passionate about her work. It's unbelievable. If you ever get the chance to talk to her, please do. She's amazing. So, you guys already know this, but if you haven't already, follow us on all social media, including but not limited to Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, Reddit, you name it, Tumblr, we're on it. Follow our pages, as well as YouTube. So please, like, subscribe, follow, comment, share, all that jazz. Everything goes towards the success of the channel. So if you guys like to see more interviews, more breaking news, live updates, definitely subscribe and share, and get the message out, and help me quit my job, because I would love to do this full time. I would love to do it all the time, and I would like to do it specifically, while doing nothing else, just this. Because if I could put all my time into this, can you imagine what else I could do? I've already put together quite a few things. So I'm just saying. Obviously, with the help of my other buddies. Shout out Jack. Shout out Drip. You guys are awesome. So one last thing before I bring her on. So as we've said before, guys, we are going to be hosting our Wonder Woman 1984 Holiday Special live from AMC Theaters. Please join us Christmas Day as we break down everything we hope to see, everything we want to see, what our expectations are. And then after the film, we'll be reviewing it. We'll be going deep into detail about Wonder Woman 1984. Here's the promo. All right. I love it. I love that promo. Gets me all jittery. I don't know why. So I guess we should probably get her out here, huh? All right, Kim, I hope you're ready. So for you, those of you who don't know, Kim plays Sheriff Jody Mills in Supernatural. She's also played roles like Carey Martin in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and The Sweet Life on Deck. She played Rachel in Colony, and she just recently, like about a year ago, was the heavy in Criminal Minds. So, and then she did years and years of theater work. She's just a tremendous, tremendous human being. If you ever get the chance, please, talk to her. She's awesome. So let's get that going, guys. I will see you after the interview. All right, guys. I am back. Thank you for joining me today. I have a special guest, one of my favorite people in the world, or at least today she'll find out that she's my favorite person. Mrs. Kim Rhodes. How are you today?
Hi, I'm really well. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. So Kim obviously plays the most amazing motherly figure to the boys, Sheriff Jody Mills. Can you before we jump into how is it like how is that character, is that you, or is that like what they wrote for you? Because I feel like that's you.
Well, I think I am naturally inclined to love. I think that's very Kim. I have played roles that were not that way, and they took a lot of work.
Right.
So once I was around a little bit, I mean, it was justified by the script. What an intense introduction into Sam and Dean, and the way they showed her how to survive after such a catastrophic and unbelievable experience in her life. I think it makes sense that she owes them a deep debt, and she, they kind of hopped past that whole like, so what's your favorite ice cream kind of relationship and straight into what does life and death mean to you? So it's not yeah.
So I got Mark to come on as well, and we're doing the reason I bring up like motherly figures is because I am doing this portion of the show because we have our podcast that I do with another person, but I'm doing this specific segment tied with Supernatural as well because my mother was recently diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and that's like really, really far into the disease already. So we're raising money for her medical bills, prescription costs, chemo, everything like that. And I thought, who better? Because my mother is kind of like you, where she's stern, loving. She's not afraid to tell you how it is, and she'll backhand you when you need it. But she also she depicts that love and that wise persona. Like she knows, you can go to her with any kind of question, or if you just need to talk. And that's what, that's Jody Mills for me, is like, whenever you're on screen specifically, I feel comforted.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, bless you. I never entered into the relationship with Sam and Dean, me being Kim, thinking maternally. I do think that it's very easy to place a maternal role on someone when they clearly don't have a sexual relationship. Right. So that already sends it into, okay, well, why aren't they having sex with each other? Because we're so inclined to look at a relationship and immediately put that on it. It's very hard to adjust to the idea of a deep platonic love without then giving it a different title. Right. And so I think maternal was the easiest title to give, even though I mean, we were played about the same age. They clearly had more experience than Jody did. Right. So they would be in the more mentor area of that. I think it's just what I attach to the concept of mother is ideally because every experience with a mother and every experience being a mother is different. And not all of us have the experience of our personal mother being the archetype of mother. But I believe archetypal mother energy is energy that is capable of loving you before you even exist.
Definitely.
Like,
Right.
I know that when I was pregnant, I was loving a being that hadn't taken a breath yet.
Right.
And so that ability to love truly, unconditionally, is what I picture of as a maternal archetype. So no judgment, no boundaries that are imposed or inflicted. Punishment is doled out only to teach and not to serve my ego.
Right.
And I'll be honest, that's not the kind of mom I am. I'm broken and flawed and a fucked up human being.
Right.
So I absolutely am not capable of that 100% of the time. But that's what I think of when I think of archetypal mother.
No, you're right.
Someone who's capable of doing that.
No, 100%. And I wish.
Hi, puppy. Hold on. Sorry, puppy sighting.
Yes.
Hi, puppy. Hello. What's this, some puppies?
He can hear you too. Yes.
I'm sorry, Brianna will tell you I do that no matter where I am. Like, I'll be in the most intense conversation, all of a sudden be like, oh, puppy.
Yes, he sneaks in there. I had to get I swear, I got a larger table, like one that came up a little higher, because like I'd be doing other interviews and he would just kind of, put his paws on the table and stand up and just check in what's going on. I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, oh man, I look like an idiot. But that's the thing now, COVID and everything, you'll see it in newscasters, you'll see their kids walk in and, whatever it is, when you're at home, things just happen. Things just happen.
Oh my darling. So this right behind me is my sound booth. It's a bunch of sound blankets around some PVC piping, and I will do cameos. And if my cat gets in here, one of my cats, he will full on climb this. He climbs it while I'm trying to be professional and inspiring.
Right.
Life is life, man.
Yeah. Yep. So I watched a couple of interviews that you've done, and I don't want to ask the same questions. However, if it's the same answer, it is what it is. I wanted to ask because I asked everyone else. So what was the first day for you like on Supernatural? That the first time you walked on?
Yeah. So the first day, I do remember that. I don't have a lot of memories because my brain is a colander, but I do remember this. So the first scene I had to shoot as Jody Mills was everyone I know and love burning on a funeral pyre. Excuse you. Are you okay? You got that thing that's going around? Okay. Sorry, mom mode.
Yeah, no, agreed.
As soon as you're coughing, I'm like, wait, we have to stop. We'll get you some tea.
Yes.
So everyone I know and love burning on a funeral pyre. And I have not met Jared or Jensen, but I've seen them, and they're very, very attractive human beings. And I am inclined, not for the greater good, but this is an old judgmental trigger of mine, where I see a pretty person and I assume they don't need anything from me, so why would they not be dicks to me?
Right.
That's old primal conditioning for whatever reason. That's my insecurity, my bullshit. But I see these two guys that I'm just like, and they're driving around on tiny little motorcycles because we're out in the middle of nowhere. So they've got these tiny little motorcycles. They're playing football on motorcycles. And I'm just like, I'm fucked. I'm just like, it's your party and you had to invite me because I'm somebody's mom who's in town for the weekend and whatever the fuck. So I start getting in this space of like, everyone I know is dead. Everyone I know is dead. Everyone I love is dead. And I don't know what I'm going to do. We're called to set. I'm showed my spot. Jared and Jensen come up. They come up like truly like the songs of angels. The sun is shining behind them. Jensen's first. Jared's right behind him. They walk up. They're both staring at me. They meet me. And then Jensen says, okay, what do you need?
Oh, see.
I was like, Me? Because
Yeah.
they didn't know I was ever going to even show up again. They had no reason to give. In fact, quite frankly, they had no reason to be on camera because it wasn't their shot.
Right.
And yet they showed up sight unseen, giving 100% of who they were. And that's always, they were not performative humans. They were not good people because they wanted to look like good people. They were good people because they're good people.
Right. And so for me, and another reason that I did this around Supernatural, I mean, I feel like it's obvious, right? You know, the charity that they've done, you know, Always Keep Fighting, mental illness. It just, like when I think of Jared and Jensen, I think of just overwhelmingly good people. Like they care about their fan base. They care about, you know, people that don't necessarily watch the show. They care about everybody, and they do a good job of giving back. So I mean, are they? It's from the sound of it, they're actually like that, right? It's not just some phony on camera thing.
No, because also, I mean, now to be really, really bluntly honest about the world we're living in, who could sustain that persona for 15 years?
Right. Exactly.
There is nobody who could lie, especially to a public like Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
Like these people are watching and are familiar and are ready. And no one could sustain this persona for 15 years without somebody along the line being like, except for no.
This time, yeah. And
even in the public lessons that they've had, you've watched growth and inspiring progress. Right. So to me, a hero isn't someone who's infallible. To me, a hero is someone who is flawed and grows and teaches me I'm allowed to do the same thing. So that's why I think they both make such great heroes.
Yeah, I agree completely. So I've been watching since, and I'm 27. So I've been watching since, you know, the first episode aired. Me and my mother sat down and watched it together. You know, she was watching it for them, you know, their faces. But, you know, after about a year or so, you know, and then it became part of my life. And I think that's what's great about Supernatural is it's not just a TV show. It's not just characters on screen, but it almost becomes a way of life. I mean, for 15 years, I sat in the same chair, watched at the same time. I mean, that changed a couple times.
But not your fault. Not your fault.
Goddamn you, CW.
Right.
But, like just it became people knew that like, all right, Tyler is not going to be able to come out on Thursday night because, you know, we know what he's doing. And it became a way of life. And, you know, how did you feel about the way it ended, or the way it ended for now, I should say?
Do you mean the episode itself?
Like, maybe not the episode itself, but like the way the finale, like, so we've all talked about it on this show before, so you're not spoiling anything for anybody, at least for people that watch this.
Tyler, I'm going to tell. Okay, so for those of you those of your listeners who know me at all, know that I'm a big, huge fan of Neil Gaiman and Good Omens, and have been before it even was sniffed at being a television show. I would always, when people were like, what's your favorite book? You would have to hose me down to get me to stop talking about Good Omens. And then it became a TV show. And through the process, Neil Gaiman, like, because he knew what it meant to me, would give me little tidbits, or he'd sneak shots from set into my inbox so that I could, so it was just that. And when it finally came out, I didn't watch it for a month.
Oh, Yeah.
So that is my way of telling you I haven't seen the finale yet.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna. That's okay. You know, Mark
I know
said,
how it ends. I know everything about it, but I'm not. I don't wanna.
yeah.
And you know what? In my world right now, that's a good enough fucking reason not to.
Hell, fucking yeah. No. Mark said the same thing. He said, I know what happens. I just haven't watched it. Obviously, you guys got other stuff going on, and that makes total sense.
I don't.
Right.
I have nothing else going on. I have nothing else. I just don't. I just don't want to. Now that said, one of the things this pandemic is teaching me is how to find okay when what I think I need to be okay is literally impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, I was promised for months that I would have an integral part in that last episode. So in my final moment, walking up the stairs, and I was like, aren't we going to like at least let Jody say goodbye? I mean, this is the last time we're going to see Jody. They're like, it's not the last time. We've got plans for Jody. Jody's oh, COVID. Yeah, no, Jody's going to be a voice on an answering machine. Thank you kindly.
Yeah, it was tough. It was.
And it wasn't okay.
No, it's not.
But it is. It has to be. I have to change what okay means. Because and that's what this entire pandemic is meaning for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it wasn't what I wanted it to be. That doesn't mean it's not. I can't be okay. It might not be okay, but I have to find okay anyway.
Right.
And so that's what I'm doing with the end of Supernatural. It wasn't what anybody wanted it to be. It was supposed to go out with like a worldwide fucking parade.
Yes.
And instead it went out with a pandemic and people not getting to see the fruition of 15 years of, you know, when you go out with a whimper instead of a bang. Mm-hmm. But it still is inevitable that what they gave us was their hearts.
Of course.
Across the board.
Of course.
And that ultimately is what Supernatural was about. So was it what I thought I wanted? No. Was it beautiful and perfect? Yes, because of who they are and what they gave to it.
Yeah. And I couldn't have said that better myself. I mean, like we as fans knew that the last, 3 or 4 episodes, or even the last two were supposed to be a lot different. And because of all the restrictions and this and that, you could tell by watching it that, it was definitely altered, whether it be the action, like the physical hand-to-hand stuff, or where people were standing. And, I kind of wish that they were like, all right, well, we're going to take the last 7 episodes and we're going to finish them and do a final, special season next year. Because I honestly didn't even want it to end. I was like, I'm okay, put it off for another year. That means I'll still have you guys next year. Cool. I'm happy. But that's not how it happened. And it's like you said.
Yeah. Well, and they can't remember just the sheer nuts and bolts of television production. They being the CW and the network are and Warner Brothers are paying for the space. Mm-hmm. So, and all of the crew need to go get other jobs.
Yes.
So it would be unfair for everyone to say, you know what, just keep paying rent on the sets. Don't break anything down. Everybody sit around. I'm sure you're fine sitting and waiting for free. Nobody can do that.
Yeah.
If something's going to end, you gotta let it end.
This is true. So I'm assuming where I first saw you, being 27. Yes. So it's funny is this is how we got to speaking about Ray about you is I was like, oh my God, the first time I ever saw you, I had to think about it really hard, but it was Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yes!
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's where I know you from personally. And then when I saw you on Supernatural, I was like, oh my God. And it was like the first time someone from my childhood came into like my adult life TV.
They took her sons and gave her a gun. Good Lord. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Still working with children, but just taller children.
Taller versions of the boys.
Yes. So out of all the roles that you've played throughout the years, which one was your favorite? If you can have a favorite, I know it's really not like something that a lot of actors have.
Well,
but
I mean, remember, I came from stage. I did stage 10 years before I did television. So I have a lot of characters that are still super dear to me. And also, like projects that weren't necessarily so my favorite all-time role is Viola in 12th Night that I performed at American Players Theater in Spring Green, Wisconsin. And that followed closely by my second favorite role, which also was in the same season, Kate Hardcastle in She Stoops to Conquer. Now, if you want to get into television, there was way ahead of its time. Way before AMC. AMC only had one television show, and it was a radio. It was like about a radio show. So way before it was like, sure, let's make all you Walking Dead. They made 10 episodes of a television show called The Lot, and it was based on 1930s Hollywood. And I played a character loosely based. I can't remember her name. How can I not remember her name? She was so famous. Carol Lombard.
Okay.
I basically played Carol Lombard. And this was I had no idea how lucky I was. It was magical. So that series was magical. Getting to do an episode of Star Trek Voyager was beyond, like, they had to hold cameras at one point because I was so excited about being on the transporter. I was dancing. I was like, I'm on the transporter. I'm on the transporter. And then I kept saying, I'm sorry. And they're like, it's okay. Everybody does this.
Yeah.
Surprised how many times. It's like, I'm about to get transported. I'm about to get transported.
That's amazing. I would do that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, easily.
I would say the work I'm the most proud of, I recently did on Criminal Minds. I was in a few episodes, and I played just this, like the heavy, but I've never had to act so not me.
Right.
It was conscious. Like a lot of times I just kind of act as if, like, if Kim were in this situation and saying these words, what would Kim be doing?
Right.
And this was not a hair on my head was Kim. So I really got to practice being someone completely different and still making it work. So I would say that's probably the work I'm the most proud of. And then the experience that I love the most is obviously Supernatural.
Yes, of course.
I mean, that was the most life-changing.
Yeah, I wonderful answer. You were also so, and I almost didn't remember this because the show kind of always just slips my mind. But it was at the time when it was airing, it was my favorite. Well, besides Supernatural, but you were in Colony as Rachel, which I completely, it just slipped my mind until a couple nights ago when I was looking through your IMDb just to, grab a couple things. I was like, holy shit, she was in Colony.
And Colony was intense. Colony was incredible because my audition for Colony was 3 words and they cut one of the words. So that was my entire audition. And I went in with a backstory and so I got the job. I shot the pilot. We shot this scene and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get to keep this role. It was me and one other guy. I was like, there is no way I'm going to get to keep this role because this is a role. It was one of those things, again, in Hollywood, you shoot a pilot and then when it gets picked up, you can go to like a fancy name and
Mhm.
say, hey, we already got picked up. Do you want to come in and do this role? And people are much more likely to say yes than they would if they're just going to hoof in and do 3 words on a pilot. Like, nobody's going to fucking do that. That's a waste of their time.
Right.
So indeed, that's what happened, is they recast, but they only recast the male role. And I was like, wait, now it's, the guy who played Brass on CSI.
Okay.
Right? He was not the original actor.
No way.
Yeah, he was not in the pilot. He was not in the pilot. That we reshot the scene where you introduced the 2 of us.
Oh.
And I kept and I was like, what happened? And I was like, well, maybe they, and this was like, maybe they spent the entire budget on that guy and they had to keep me and they're going to kill me off next episode. Coming back. And when they finally did say, the executive producer came to me and said, I want to tell you personally, we are going to kill your character. I was like, I did not expect to be here this long. So thank you. I said, but I have to ask you, why did you not recast me with someone famous when you had to reshoot that scene anyway? He goes, well, I'm going to be completely honest. We were going to. Oh. But I couldn't get your voice out of my head. I was like, boom, that's right, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yes. Long lasting in his head, rent in space. I love it. I love it.
So the other thing, my other takeaway from Colony, Tori was an acting lesson in and of himself. At one point, because I was so insecure with these amazing actors around me. I was like, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I don't belong here. And he called me out on it. He's like, you're trying to do this all by yourself. You need to trust me. And I just went, okay, I love you so much. And that's where that came from. And then Sarah is like, I loved her so much. And I'm still in touch with her. And she is the most exquisite angel on this planet and deserves all good things ever to come to her.
And she played Katie Bowman, right? The main woman. She's amazing. She really is.
Oh, she's an astonishing soul, and this planet is lucky to have her.
Yeah, matter of fact, I was just, so when I had found that you were on Colony, the first the first video I watched was you explaining that you're a shitty mother because you let your kids into it and they know what you're doing. And like, you have a laugh between you two. Oh man, like it just really great stuff. And Colony for me I wish it got the axe like after season 3 or something like that. And it shouldn't have, it really shouldn't have. It was a good show.
Yeah, a little funny callback. One of the directors on one of our episodes where I know I came into the bar that Sarah's character owned was directed by Roxanne Dawson, who was one of the regulars on Star Trek Voyager. She played the Klingon woman on Star Trek Voyager. Yeah, she was a director.
Oh.
Yeah.
The things you find out. This is just amazing. The things you find out. So, I mean, after this whole, I don't know, COVID thing ends, if it ever ends, I don't know anymore. I feel like this is just normal life now. Are there any projects you're interested in, or anything that's coming out or coming in the works?
Tyler, I love you for even thinking that I'm at a place in my life where I get to be like, yes, well, I've been in discussions with Robert Downey Jr. about the most. No, are you fucking kidding me?
No.
I can't. I'll take anything. I just need health insurance.
Yeah.
It is slim pickings for yours truly.
Yeah. Unfortunately with a lot of people.
Oh yeah. There's nothing going on. Yep. And since everybody's out of work, the upper level fish are willing to take the jobs that the tiny fish should normally be getting.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm grateful that I'm okay right now. I wrote a children's book and my friend is illustrating it.
Oh.
I've got a couple more in there, so that might happen someday. I mean, truly, who hasn't written a children's book? But I did, and it's very charming, and I'm charmed by myself. So I'm gonna put it out there somewhere.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm happy that you're proud of your work.
Yes.
I couldn't have it any other way. Seriously.
Yeah. And I'm spending all of my time. I'm a riding instructor now. So I teach other people's children how to ride a horse in exchange for still being allowed to ride the horse I ride.
That's all. My sister used to ride horses a lot. And then like she used to do the shows and stuff where like they like prance them around and jump over things and get ribbons. Yep.
That's it. We prance around and jump over things and get ribbons. That's exactly what we're doing.
Funny question. So someone asked me to ask you this.
Okay, I'm ready.
If you had to choose who you would go into battle with, would it be an angel or a demon?
Wait, are they on my side or the other side?
They're on your side.
Okay, so this is a fun fact about me, Tyler. I'm recently discovering that I'm probably autistic, and these kinds of questions take my brain into my world where I can't. Okay, so I need details. Because that question doesn't make sense to me. So if I'm going into battle, if I'm fighting, if angels are on my side, that means that I'm the good guy, right?
Well, as we've seen, so I guess this would take place in the supernatural world where, and this is how I interpreted the question. Like your supernatural character, and as we've seen from the show, angels aren't always the good guys, but demons aren't always the bad guys. So like, for instance, like, would you go into battle with Castiel or Crowley as your partner if you're having to take down some like, giant evil other spirit? I thought it was an interesting question because we asked Mark that and he chose neither. He said he would go into battle by himself because he's Lucifer. So.
Well, yeah. No, oh, wait, are you asking Kim or Jody?
Jody.
Oh, that also is important to know.
Yes.
Kim's like,
neither. I don't want to see either of them.
I'm gonna get a pint of ice cream and sit down and wait for the world to blow up. Jody would absolutely go into battle with an angel because she would rather like have to spend a little extra time explaining shit to them than spend a lot of extra time pulling the knives back out of her own back.
Right.
Like really, you only need to go on a date with an angel, with a demon. Yeah, you only need to go on a date with a demon once to realize that they're only out for them. Mm-hmm. And I imagine if you go into battle with a demon, you're going to end up having to battle the demon at some point anyway.
I like it. I like it a lot. How was shooting that date with Mark Shepard? Like, was that a fun experience?
It was fucking hilarious. It was hilarious in retrospect. At the time, it was not so funny because it was the last episode of the season, and there was no mention in the script whether or not I lived through it. Mm. And I didn't. Interesting. I thought they were killing my character.
Oh my God, imagine Crowley actually killed you because he almost did.
Yeah. And it was after the season had wrapped. It was B-roll. It was B. Yep. So everybody they were pulling down sets. They were moving shit around. They were like, "Oh, you're still here? What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm here to work." And apparently it's my last day. Guys, I'm dying. So I just kind of made a meal out of it because Phil Segricia was directing that episode, and I kept like lying down and go, "Great, can you do it again?" I'm like, "I would, except for I'm dead."
Right.
And then I'm sorry, there's no mention if I'm back to life again. So
right.
If you're not dead, you're coming back. I'm like, I don't know that.
Yeah,
I read the script and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It needs to be literally written for me. Yeah. For me to believe it.
I want you to say that in this script that Jody's still alive.
I can't remember. Did you ever get to work with Kim Manners?
No.
No?
I did not. No.
I
loved him vicariously.
Yeah. So I'm just like, if you go back and watch the first 3 seasons, you're just like, this guy, just amazing stuff, like amazing work. And I was watching an interview with Misha Collins was talking about him, and I was just like, I wonder if Kim ever worked with him, because I can't remember.
I
No.
didn't work with him.
So Criminal Minds, you said, how recent was Criminal Minds? Because I don't watch Criminal Minds, I'll be honest with you.
It was at least a year ago, maybe
And-
2. It was like a year and a half ago, I want to say, a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's canceled now, so it had to have been. It was the season before its last season.
Criminal Minds is canceled?
Yeah, it also went 15 years.
Oh, I've watched episodes, like whether it was on TNT or whatever network it was on, like, when you just kind of scroll by and like you get caught on maybe one episode. But I always imagined the cast being like, everyone's not there all the time. You know what I mean? It doesn't have like Supernatural where they're, every character, you're all regulars at the same time. Like, is it a lot of revolving characters, revolving doors?
I got the feeling that there was a pretty solid, maybe in the early seasons, but by the time I got there was a very solid core of established characters, and I came in and fucked with all of them, and so everyone hated me.
Aw, isn't that wonderful though?
Yay!
I've been meaning to ask you. So how did you and Ray Porter meet?
We met. He was doing Shakespeare at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, which happened to take place in the exact same town that I was going to undergrad. And we met because we literally locked eyes on the bricks of the Shakespeare, and we're like, oh, there you are. And I started dating a friend of his, and it was so funny because we years later found out that I was always like, oh, Ray's this guy's friend. He's obviously really cool. And Ray would always go, oh, Kim's this guy's girlfriend. He's obviously really cool. And then we both were kind of like, wait, we actually just really like each other.
Yeah. That's awesome. He's such a nice guy. Oh my God. Yeah. I don't even know. He was part of our DC comics kind of deal, because now he's playing Darkseid, which is,
yes, he is.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Like, it's fucking amazing to get into the mind of, and Ray's done so many things. It's unbelievable. And it's sad when people don't know someone like that, because he's, the list of things that he's done go on and on. But voice actors don't get a lot of, they're not Robert Downey Jr. And it was fun to get to talk to him. He's such a sweet guy, and he had nothing but good things to say about you.
Well, I mean, he was in my wedding. We aren't just like, we aren't just like, oh, Hollywood good friends. Oh, they love each other. Like, he was one of my 3 bridesmaids. So he's like, he's heart family.
Oh my God. I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, is that I don't use that. I don't use that like, oh, I love him, he's really good. He's like, he's my home. We used to sit and watch the stars for 4th of July. And he, for a while, he plays all these different instruments. And so he would help me. I've played a note on a bagpipe because of him. I've played a note on a didgeridoo because of him. It's like he's like an inseparable friend I will have until I die.
Oh, that's so nice. I think everyone needs that person, that rock in their life, right? What was I going to ask you? Oh, do you have, so someone told me that, and I could have sworn I've been listening. You have your own show, right? Like your own little podcast?
Oh, well, okay. So there are many episodes. Brianna and I have the Wayward podcast. But when pandemic started, I didn't have time to edit it. However, funny you should mention it. We are putting together something that might get that back up and running in a different format.
Okay.
So I don't know, but yeah, that's Brianna. And Brianna Buckmaster and I are kind of figuring out how to take on this world as it is right now.
I'm luckily, like, because of it, companies like Zoom or StreamYard or whatever it is, they're they give us the tools that we need to do like interviews like this, which is really nice. Cause I mean, if this happened 10 years ago, we'd all be screwed, like 10, 15 years ago, no one would, there wouldn't be any interviews or anything like that. So luckily it's not as bad as it could be. I just recently went on a date via Zoom.
Oh, yay!
Yeah. We had dinner. We cooked dinner by ourselves. Like, we cooked dinner, brought it to the table, and then just talked like this. It was really awkward, like at first, but slowly and surely I got into this kind of mode, like the podcast mode. I was like, and then she's like, oh, you talk a lot. I was like, yeah, I have to.
I do. You're right.
Yes. But Kim, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you have a lot. Well, you're homeschooling. How is that, by the way?
I mean, everybody is. I'm technically remote schooling because she's still enrolled in public school. However, we've adapted the curriculum a little bit, so she is asynchronously learning.
Yes.
So that basically means that it's a lot of people's job to educate my kid right now, and I am one of those people.
Do you find it? Because my brother's in high school, and my mother finds it like tremendously hard to get him to stay focused on the work instead of like turning to his Xbox and playing video games while he's like doing classes. Is this something that's brought you and your child closer, or is it been more frustrating than anything?
Well, one of the great things about what we have an IEP, which is an individualized educational plan. In other words, she is neurodivergent. She has an atypical learning style. And so what we do is we just get the work, and then I say, let me know when you're ready. And sometimes she's ready. Sometimes she's like, let's blow through it. And sometimes if I try to make her on my terms, she becomes very, very defiant and aggressive. And like, who wouldn't? This is right. The thing, this concept that because she's 13 and I'm 51, I have the right to tell her how she should manage her time is actually an illusion that is kind of perpetuated by neurotypical standards. So It's really up to me to say, well, why am I invested in this right now? I want my kid to be educated. Well, she's getting educated. She is curious and fascinated about the world and identifies plants and wants to know what bugs do and how and the layers of the earth. Like, she's not tuning out. She just doesn't want to be mandated into this little fucking box. So it's my job to be like, well, why am I attached to the box? Oh, because I want to get an A. Right. Well, maybe you should look at that, Kim.
Right. Oh, man. It's definitely changing the way parents perceive like schooling, and now they're understanding how difficult it is. And how like the work that teachers actually do, which is, I would say, a good thing. However, I just, there are some people like already ready to send their kids back to school, even though it may not be safe, because they just, we're not the ones that need to be doing this. Well, it's like, no, that's your kid. Like
and it's, so one of the most important things for me as a parent is to remember that every parent is having a unique experience. Like, a lot of us think, well, you're in the same situation I am, so you must be having the same experience. Therefore, I have the right to tell you how you should be responding. And that is not true.
It's not.
The only child I am the parent of is mine. Mm-hmm. And that means the only experience that I have the right to try and navigate is mine. So when I hear other parents saying, we have to do this thing, and that thing is not something that I want to do, I am only able to move through that by going, oh, you think you need that. And therefore that, like, you're not separating your experience from everybody's experience. So I can do that for you. Right. I can say, cool, how do we get you what you need and still get me what I need?
Right. That's a great way of looking at it. I just, again, I can't thank you enough for joining me today. I truly appreciate it. And I hope this isn't the last time. Really
thank you. I'm so happy to have met you, and what a pleasure you are. I really enjoyed this.
So anytime you ever have free time, I'll check in with you, and I will make sure it's something you can do. Go ahead.
Wait, before we leave, can we address one more time the charity work that you are doing with this, and where people can find and connect with that? And I will make sure I post it too, because my mother, I did ultimately lose my mother to cancer. It was not breast cancer, but I know what a long, painful journey that is, no matter how you may be healing. I have a couple of friends that are on the breast cancer journey right now. And I applaud you for finding a focus for your own need to contribute, because a lot of times for those of us who love someone who is suffering in that way, we're like, well, I gotta do something. And so we do it at the sick person. And then the sick person's like, great, now I gotta deal with my cancer and your miserable ass. Thanks.
Oh man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So we started a GoFundMe. So we worked with GoFundMe before on suicide awareness and suicide prevention. So they helped us.
Which is ironically how I lost my other father, my other parent.
It's no, like, that's ironic. A little bit too ironic, but it's no joke, right? I live in Boston. In the last 1 year, I've seen 2 people jump in front of the subway, and like, it truly scares me, like, that there's these people don't know where to go get help, or they don't know how, or they're too afraid because it makes them look weak. Like, the pandemic's terrible, but there's other things going on. So, and Zack Snyder, who directs Justice League, lost his daughter to suicide. So, we thought, what better way to help out? The breast cancer one is directly goes to my mother, though. It deposits all into her bank account, and she pays medical bills, chemo. Chemo is very expensive. Prescription costs, whatever it is, we let her decide what she puts it towards. We've raised quite a few dollars already, and the link will be below. And it's just a little GoFundMe link. Click it. It's very easy to donate. And their GoFundMe has allowed us, so they're not taking fees from it.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay.
Yes. So a special thank you to them as well. Kim, I really appreciate you saying that. I do it because me and my mother haven't always seen eye to eye, but she's always been there for me when I needed it, or when I was being an asshole or whatever. So it's only right for me to return the favor and be there for her.
Well done.
Thank you.
Done. I wish you both. It's a rocky journey, but I hope you come out exactly where you want to.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kim. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Kim Rhodes. She is such a sweet person, so amazing and so genuine. I can't say it enough. These interviews with the Supernatural casting crew have just been so amazing and so tremendously, overwhelmingly positive. And it's not going to stop there. Kim and Mark were just the first of it. We're going to keep hammering away at Jared and Jensen, try to get them on the show. But anywhere, anyone from any point at Supernatural is fair game, and we'll get them on here. I love the show so much. It meant so much to me. I thought, what better way to kind of combine the breast cancer campaign with Supernatural's Always Keep Fighting and their constant themes of helping each other. It just fits so perfectly together that why not, right? Why not? So a couple things. Again, I hope you enjoyed that interview. It was one of a kind. It was special for me. I loved it so much, and I hope you did too. But a couple things about the rest of this week. So join us this Friday when Lightcast podcast host Matt and the cultured nerd writer Taylor invade the pop culture corner. Justice, Jack, and I will be on an interview with those guys. We'll talk all DCEU, all MCU stuff, and we'll get to the bottom of anything and everything, comic book, movie, TV. We'll talk about it all. It's going to be so much fun. As you guys can probably remember from our first Lightcast interview, it was so insightful, so knowledgeable, and so wise that, we didn't get enough, and we would like to do it again. So join us this Friday. It's going to be really, really fun. And then as always, right? Tune in this Sunday for another episode of the Pop Culture Corner podcast and YouTube show. We don't know what's going to be happening yet, but that's not to say we don't know that we're going to have fun, because we always have fun. We're always entertaining, and we're always there for you, the viewer and or listener. We just kind of launched a pre-campaign for a merchandising website through Teespring. So we made a couple sample products for you to, try out and see if you like them and get some feedback on it. We have so much more in the works and so much more coming, including our new website. So we're looking for writers right now where this is not stopping here. We're expanding exponentially. And if you want to be a part of a growing brand, just let us know and we'll do an interview, see what you bring to the table, and we'll go from there. We need writers. We need, we're trying to grow the Pop Culture Corner brand as well. So, we have lots of openings, for different various roles. Can't afford to pay yet, but that's okay. When we get to the top, we'll be able to. Right now, it's more of a passion project. So if you like to write and you're passionate about pop culture and you want to tackle any subjects that you find that are interesting, or you just want to create some fan art, whatever it be, we're more than interested in hearing from you. You can do that at any of our social medias, or, if you DM me personally, or Justice personally, or Jack personally, whatever it is, we'd love to hear from you. Another thing. So TY's TV Corner isn't done for the day. No, it is not. TY's TV Corner, his Dark Materials edition, will air live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time after the episode of his Dark Materials airs. I couldn't do it before then because then I wouldn't know what I'm talking about. So 10 p.m. is a little late. That's okay. You can watch it tomorrow, whatever. But we'll be live tonight at 10. So make sure to tune in on that, guys. I had such a great time today. Please, please, please make sure you make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. If you're returning to the channel, I thank you. We thank you. We love you. So I will see you next time. I'll see you a little bit later, probably 5 hours from now. All right, guys. Love you. Stay classy.